Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to episode 2 in Make a Survival Game in Unity. In this video we'll be making the melee system, so for our character to attack an enemy. So you want to start by opening up Unity. I've already done this. So now, one thing that I have done off camera from the other video, I just renamed the cube, so our ground, I just named it ground. And we'll rename while we're at it, we'll name our first person controller player. So we'll just go ahead and rename that to player. Okay? So now to make our melee system, what we want to do, we want to go to, or just zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to go to game object, create empty, and then basically what this object is, it's an empty object that's entirely invisible in the scene that you could store scripts in, make a bunch of stuff happen. I might cover a little bit of it later, but what we want to do, we want to rename this right now. I'll just name it melee. You guys can name it whatever you want, doesn't matter, and just drag it under your player. So you have the melee under your player, just like this. Okay? And then once it's in our player, you want to drag it again underneath the main camera, just like that. So now what you should have player, your graphics tab right here, main camera, and underneath the main camera we have melee. So that is perfect. So now if we take our melee system and center it, if we just take our melee system and go 0, 0, 0, it moves directly to the middle of our person, or our player. So that is good. So I'll just select it here. Okay, perfect. So now that we have our melee on our person. Okay, so if you'll notice right here, our melee system is directly over our person. We don't want that. We want our melee system to be in front of our person, so when our enemy is in front of us, we can kill them. So what you want to do, I'm just going to open up the game view here too, so we can see which way we're looking. I think our character is looking this way. I'll just check to make sure. I'll go ahead and play. Okay. Yes, our character is looking that way. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to take our melee system and drag it a little bit in front of our player. Just like this, not too much. That should be about good. So, yeah, right about there. Right about there is good. So now, and make sure you drag it in front too. So if you're not sure which way your character is facing, just go into game mode and play it, and you could check. So, now to do next. Now we are going to make a script for our melee. So, again, if you watched my last series, I went into a little bit about scripting. Now, I'm just going to say it again. If you don't get the scripting right away, don't worry about it, because I didn't get it right away. And if you do get it right away, you're doing a lot better than I did, or anyone else. That is for sure. The scripting does take a little bit of practice to getting used to, but with practice you'll get it. So if we just go ahead and click on our melee, click add component, go down to new script, and then we'll call this script, you can call it whatever you want, I'm just going to call it the melee system, and then make sure the language is JavaScript, and then just click create and add. So now this is our script right here, and we could go ahead and double click that to open it up with MonoDevelop. And MonoDevelop is an app that comes with Unity, or it should come with Unity anyways. If it does not come with Unity, just leave a comment below and I'll give you a download link to where you could get MonoDevelop. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to highlight, or you want to delete the function start and function update, because we are not needing that right now. So we want to start off by creating a variable, then we'll call this variable the damage, and then we'll make it an integer, and then we'll make it equal to 50. So if if you are not sure about anything about the scripting, I go into a lot more detail about the scripting when in my other video in Make a Simple Game with Unity in my other series. But basically what a variable is, it's like a box that can store things. So our variable here is the damage, and if we type in the damage anywhere else in our script, we know that instead of typing in 50, we can just type in the damage, or instead of typing in this line right here, this part, we could just type in the damage, and that makes it equal to 50. Now, basically what this is, the damage 50, this is the damage that our melee is going to do. So this is if we hit the enemy, 50 damage will go off the enemy's health, and then we're going to make the enemy's health about 100, so it takes 2 hits to kill the enemy, just like some other video games. And then we'll create another variable, and we'll call this variable distance, and then we'll make it float. I'm not really going to go into detail about what float means. I might in later videos, but I'm just going to leave that like that for now. So now we want to open up our function update again. We actually didn't have to delete it, I just realized that. So just type in function update, and then just put 2 parentheses, and then hit the enter button, and put 2 curly brackets, and then enter those just as it is right here. So now we have a function update. So inside of the curly brackets, you want to type in we want to create a variable hit, and then type in raycast, or sorry, I believe that's wrong. Raycast hit. Okay, just like that. Then close that off with a semicolon, and then hit the enter button again. Then we want to create an if statement. So if physics, whoops, what happened there? Okay, if physics dot raycast, and then open up another bracket, and there should be a space here. Oops, just like that. Then you want to type transform dot position, and that should be a lowercase t, not an uppercase t. Transform dot position, then comma, then transform dot transform I think that should be a capital T because it's not coming up. Transform, no, it's lowercase t. Transform position. Something doesn't seem right about this line. Oh yes, it's transform direction. It should be transform direction. Okay, perfect. And then open up another bracket, and then type in vector 3. And this should be capital. There we go. Transform there it is. Oops. Okay, there we go. Transform direction. Perfect. Okay. Then you want to type in dot forward, and then a comma, and then hit. Okay, so basically what this if statement is saying is if our physics raycast, so if we come up to our enemy, if we press the left mouse towards the enemy, he will die. So if we press the left, or he will not die, he will be hit. So if we press the left mouse while we're pointing towards our enemy, this comes into here right now. If we're pointing towards our enemy, if our enemy is forward, so if it's ahead of us, we will hit our enemy. So that's basically what that if statement is saying. And I just realized I forgot this bracket here. Make sure you guys keep track of your brackets. So I have one bracket here, the closing brackets there, bracket there, closing brackets there, and closing brackets here. So inside of these curly brackets, you want to hit enter again, create a new line, then create more curly brackets. And then you want to tab out and type in distance equals hit dot, whoops, not hierarchy type, hit dot, no, it keeps on going to hierarchy type, hit dot What is going on? Hit. I do not want to go to hierarchy type. Dot. Okay, here. Give me a second. Okay, I just paused the video there because it was being a little bit laggy. If you guys have that problem when you're typing the script, if it keeps on correcting it to hierarchy, all I did was I just type in hit distance like that and then came over here and put a dot in the middle. But this is basically what you're saying. So this is where hit distance variable comes in. So if we're within the certain distance range, then we will hit the enemy. But we haven't created a distance range. We'll do that later on. Then you want to create another line and type in hit dot transform. There's the hierarchy type again. Hit transform, and then I'll go ahead and put the dot there, and then type in another dot, then send message, then open up brackets, and then open up the quotations, and then type in apply damage, and then quotations again, and then close that off, and then put a comma. Then you want to make a space, type in the damage, so this is where our variable comes in, and then you want to type the go back, hit a comma, then you want to type send message options, so right here, then dot don't require receiver, okay, and close that off with a semicolon. Okay, so this is all looking good. I am forgetting something. Okay, so basically, if we go up to our enemy right now and hit the mouse button and the mouse, and basically it will not hit him. That's why we haven't assigned the hit variable to our mouse button. Now to do that, in the parentheses up here, right underneath the function update, you want to hit enter again, tab out, and then what you want to type in is another if statement, and then you want to type in get, or you want to type in get mouse, is it a capital G? No, it's not. Hang on a second. Input dot get mouse button down. There we go. And then open up bracket, parentheses or quotations. Then type in fire 1, and then close that off with 2 brackets. Now basically what this is saying, get mouse button down, when we hit the mouse button, we're going to fire. So when we hit the mouse button, we're going to hit the enemy. Okay, so this all looks good. Oh, we have 2 if statements within the same area in the parentheses. That's not good. So I'll just separate them real quick. So just come over here to this if statement, come to the end of the if statement, hit the enter button. Or yes, it's this. And then I'll put a curly bracket here, and then curly bracket there, and make sure you tab these out too. Okay, so now that looks good, and that bracket should not be there. It should be, whoops, this bracket should not be there. It should be at the end right here. Okay, that is good. So now when we start up Unity, we should have no errors. So just go ahead, file, save, open up Unity, and then when we go to our Melee system, we hit play. There are some errors actually. We'll see what these are. There are 2 audio listeners. Okay, that doesn't matter. Here are the errors. Okay, assets melee system.javascript. The best overload for the method Unity engine.input get mouse button down integer is not compatible with argumentless string, and transformation is not a member of Unity engine.transform. Okay, so I see what we did wrong now. Now it was talking about this get mouse button down. That should not be get mouse button down. It should be just be get button down, just like that. So now if we go ahead and hit file, save, open up Unity, if we clear the errors, there is still one more error, so we got rid of the first error. So it's not a member of Unity engine, not transform. Did you mean transform direction? Okay. So this is what it's talking about, this line right here. I'll just have a quick look at it. So I found out what the problem was. This should be a capital D. So now if we go ahead and save that, now if you see scripting, it is hard because you do get a couple of errors. Now if we save that, clear the error, and if we hit the play button, our game should run smoothly. Now if you see, when I click when we have a distance variable right over here, in this distance variable, basically this is saying that this is whatever our distance is from the target. So if I go ahead and click the play button, and you can see if I hit the left mouse button towards that wall, that's the distance we have away from our wall. So in the next video, what I'll be doing is we'll add an enemy, and then we'll modify the distance to make it only hit the enemy when we're within, say, about when we're within a distance of 2, because this is a pretty good distance between me and the wall, right? Between our character and my character and the wall. This is about 2 right here, so that should be a good distance. Okay guys, so in this video we created a melee system, and I'm just gonna end on that. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.